Okay, Mike Campbell, welcome back to Australian Musician.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, last time we spoke was 2019 at your hotel room in Melbourne when you were out here with Fleetwood Mac. The world was a different place. The first Dirty Knobs album was yet to come out. What are your memories of that tour?
I have great memories. It seems like 10 years ago to me. It was so long ago. But we went around the world and we had a blast. They were great people, and all the shows were wonderful. And I loved Australia. My wife and I had a good time, shopping and tooling around different cities. And I have great memories about all that tour.
Yeah. So now your second Dirty Knobs album is coming out March 4. It's called External Combustion. The album kicks off with Wicked Mind, a killer barroom rock song. Great way to start an album. How important is the track order to you?
Very important. We spent a lot of time on the sequencing. And, the Dirty Knobs is forgive me if I'm hoarse, I just got done with rehearsal. But the Dirty Knobs is a boogie rock band. We have a lot of energy. And I thought that song was a perfect setup for the album because it just comes on real strong. It's hard to drive slow when you hear that in the car.
It is a great killer barroom type song. Well, what are some of your great barroom experiences when you were younger? Any great bands that you saw in small clubs that really made an impression?
Well, a little bit. When I was in Jacksonville, I was barely learning to play guitar. I went to a club, I think it was called the Comic Book Club, downtown Jacksonville. And I saw a band called the 1%. And as it turns out, they morphed into what became Leonard Skinner later on.
Okay.
And I know the guys, but, I thought they were pretty good. I hadn't been to many concerts or clubs at the time. I was kind of young. But I thought, I would love to be a guitar player and get paid for it.
Yeah. Well, back to External Combustion. It has an extended fade out at the end. You don't hear the fade out like that so much these days. Was that your idea or George Drakoulias?
That was probably my idea. George was great at picking the songs and helping with some of the arrangements. But the Dirty Knobs tracking in the studio is really pretty quick. Once we know the song, we just kind of play it through, and they follow me. If I want to go a little longer, go with me.
Yeah. So what is it about George and his production style that you enjoy? What does he bring to the table?
Well, for one thing, he's really smart, and he watches the details. But the main thing is he's really fun. He's funny, and he puts everybody in a good mood and makes it like a party,
Yeah. There are a couple of great collaborations on the album. One is Dirty Job with Ian Hunter. I assume you were a Mott the Hoople fan, and how did this collaboration come about?
It was a miracle, really. I was a Mott the Hoople fan and an Ian Hunter fan, and it came out of the blue. I got a call at my management from his management that he wanted me to overdub some guitars on some songs he had. I'd never met him before, so he sent the music over. I overdubbed and sent it back to him, and he really liked it. So I took liberties and asked him if he would sing on one of our tracks, and he was very gracious about it. And he did a great job. He sang a verse, played some piano, sang some harmonies, and I was just thrilled to have him on there. He's a hero of mine.
Yeah. Another great collaboration on the track State of Mind with Margo Price. Were you able to have her in the studio with you?
I was. It worked out. She came out with her husband, Jeremy Ivy. We did some songwriting, and I just happened to have the studio up in the other room. We were working on some stuff. And so once again, I asked her if she would like to sing with me, and she was very gracious and did an amazing job on State of Mind, and also on this other song called Cheap Talk, where she sang backgrounds and some high crazy stuff. And she was just a joy to work with. It was so good. Her voice is great.
Yeah. Another track, In This Lifetime, is such a beautiful song. I love the pizzicato guitar bit. It's so effective. The track gives the album a little breathing space as well. Tell me about the song, how that came together.
In This Lifetime was an older song that the Knobs had played it years ago in a club from time to time. And it's got a great mood to it. It's built around guitar harmonics. And I built the chords underneath. I started with the music. I built the chords underneath those harmonics because I liked the way they sounded kind of Japanese. And I put the words under it later on and put it away 10 years ago in my tape vault. And my engineer pulled it out, and I had almost completely forgotten about it. And I go, "Oh yeah, that might fit on this album." So I had the Knobs play it, and it was a great track. And it's a really good live song, as it turns out, because we can stretch out on the guitar in the middle.
Yeah. Speaking of guitars, you're known for using different guitars to suit the song. Did you use many guitars on this album?
Well, no, with the Dirty Knobs, I don't use that many guitars because it's just a 4-piece band. And I got a sound up that I liked, and I pretty well stay, except for one, I think one song I used a Gibson Les Paul on everything just because I was comfortable with it. And we wanted to get on with the music. We didn't want to change sounds and stuff.
So how much discussion is there with Jason about the combination of guitars and amps you're both using so that you're both on the same page?
Right. Well, he typically plays a Fender Strat that he loves. And we have a musical conversation between the two of us that always just seems to work without much discussion. You know, he's real good at telepathy with me, and I show him the song, and typically he'll play an alternate part that just makes two guitars sound like one guitar, which is what I want. Occasionally, I might say, "Well, why don't you try this?" But mostly I just let him do what he wants, and it seems to work out most of the time.
Yeah. You're about to tour with Chris Stapleton. Apart from theatres and clubs, you're also playing some bigger gigs. I think you're playing Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
Probably the first time you're doing stadium gigs as a frontman. Wondering how you're feeling about that.
I feel very comfortable with it, and it's not something that happened overnight. I've been doing it with the Dirty Knobs over the last decade or more, learning how to be in front of the band and sing. And we've played a few festival things where there's lots of people. And in my old band, the Heartbreakers, I played a lot of those gigs, so I'm very kind of comfortable being in front of either 100 people or 100,000 people. It's the same to me, pretty much. But yeah, I've got my confidence, and I feel like I can get the songs across. I know I'm not a great singer, but I can get the personality, and I can hit the notes, and that's really what's important.
Also, I see you're playing the Troubadour in Hollywood. Does it mean something to you to play a venue with a history? Do you get a bit sentimental about that kind of thing?
Oh, yeah. I've played the Troubadour several times, and it's one of those great places that has, ghosts and history dripping off the walls. It's just, so many people have played there. It's a very spiritual playing there, and it's a good sounding room. And we're going to do 2 nights there, and I'll be very comfortable playing there. I'm looking forward to that one.
I know you and Tom were big Byrds fans. Scrolling through YouTube, I found a couple of clips of you playing with Roger McGuinn and Chris Hillman. You were playing American Girl. In that situation on stage with those guys, are you totally in the moment, or is there a little bit of you that has this out-of-body experience thinking back to younger days?
Well, when I first met Roger, I had a little bit of that because he's such a hero of mine. But, musicians that love music, you get over that stuff pretty quick. It comes you and the other musician, trying to make good music together. So I don't take my mind there much. I just kind of go with the music. Like, maybe I might step back in a moment and go, "Oh my God, that's not just some guy. That's Roger McGuinn," and then I'll just snap my mind out of it going, I'll just focus on what you're doing.
Yeah. I see Keith Richards and the Winos are playing a benefit show in March in New York. I always thought you'd be a great fit for that band. Have you ever played with Keith?
I did play with Keith once in a rehearsal. I love Keith. I don't think he knows who I am, but Tom and I went to a rehearsal in New York many decades ago, and it was Keith and Ronnie and Mick. And Bill wasn't there. He hadn't come over from England yet, but they had a bass set up. So they were like, "Anybody play bass?" I said, "Yeah, I'll play the bass." So I jumped up and we played, 5 or 6 great Stones songs. And I played the bass with Keith. It was really fun. I mean, he's a huge influence on me and just a spiritual player. He's got the source of rock and roll in his blood.
Yeah. The Dirty Knobs have such a great live sound. Do you see a live recording happening at some point along the journey?
Oh yeah, I'm sure we will. We're going to record every show. And if we get some stuff that sounds good after the tour, maybe we'll put it out. I haven't really thought about that right now, but it's very likely to happen because they are good live. We sound live like we do in the studio pretty much. That's the way we play. That's the way we recorded it.
Yeah. You started out doing small unannounced gigs. Do you still intend to do that occasionally?
Oh yeah. We've got some surprises along the way where we're just going to show up and play.
So I wonder how you listen to music at home. Are you a vinyl guy? And what have you been listening to lately?
Well, like most people, I use my phone, unfortunately, because it's so quick. But when I really want to listen to music, in my kitchen, I have an old Zenith fold-out record player it comes down like this and the speakers go out to the side. And I've listened to records. I like vinyl on that system. That's where it sounds familiar to me when I was growing up. That's what my records sounded like. They weren't on big systems. They were on little portable systems. And that's what I listened to. I was listening to that this morning. It sounds great.
The world's starting to open up again after a couple of really bad years. When do you think we might see you back in Australia again?
That's a good question. It won't be this year, but I do want to come back. My wife and I, like I said, we had a wonderful time down there. And I would hope that we get successful enough that we can play big enough venues, to pay for it. But it's on our list of, bucket list of things to do.
Yeah. Well, Mike, it's been great to catch up with you again. And External Combustion is out March 4th. It's a fantastic album. And thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Greg. I really appreciate the time. It's nice of you.